All right, everyone, and welcome to Reading Notes, Plot and Setting. So, we start with the word plot. And so, a plot is the major events, the events in a story. It's basically the story itself. So when somebody asks you what was the film or book about, they're asking you for the plot. Basically, what happens? What is it about? So plot is the events in the story. Setting. Setting is where and when the story takes place. Could be the time, the year, a season, so on. But it's where and when the story takes place. Next, we have the word conflict. And every story needs a conflict. Every movie needs a conflict. And that's basically the problem, the struggle in the story. It'd be very boring if the hero, the main character, couldn't overcome a problem and be successful or somehow, some way find a way to solve a problem. So conflict is the problem. Now, breaking down, there are 4 parts of a plot. Number 1, we start with the beginning. It's also known as exposition. And then we have 2 major events. The third one is climax. And 4 is a resolution. So, the beginning, the exposition. That's where we are introduced to the characters. And then we are introduced to the conflict and the setting of the story, where this story is going to take place. So, that is the first part of the plot. The second part are the major events. Everything, the rising action. All the events of the story, what happens to the character, what the character does, all leading up to the third part, the climax. This is the turning point. This is where the story changes. It's usually where the villain and the hero come face to face for a final battle. And it happens right before the ending. Okay, this is where, again, usually the hero and the villain are come face to face and they are going to face off against each other. Now the resolution. Resolution is the ending of the story. This is where the story ends and problems are solved and so on. Okay, that is the ending of a story. Now the narrator is a person who is telling the story. Okay? This is the person who is telling the story. Okay? Now after narrator, we have the protagonist. Okay? The protagonist is the main character. The story is who the story is about. Okay? It's usually the hero. Okay? You have a Captain America or a Batman, Superman. Those would be protagonists of the story. But again, like we said with conflict, with every protagonist, there has to be an antagonist. It's usually the villain. It's against the main character, the problem that the main character has to overcome. Okay? And so that's going to bring us to an end to the plot and setting notes. Okay, just wanted to do some real brief plot setting notes. Again, please check back and keep an eye out for our next video. Thank you.